Okay guys, so this is my first attempt at making a video. So we're going to keep it simple and just go over the first part of the genetics and heredity study guide that you guys were supposed to have worked on yesterday. As long as this works, expect a bunch more videos to come out, and I'm going to put them on a YouTube channel for you guys to view. All right, so our first experiment with it will just be to review some work we already did. So I kept it pretty short for part one, and we have a bunch more questions coming out in part two today. So we'll just start with part one. Number one, you were asked who is the father of modern genetics, and the correct answer to that was Gregor Mendel. All right, remember he was that first scientist back in the mid 1800s. He was a monk who started experimenting with genetics. All right. Number two, we asked what type of plants were first used to study genetics. That was pea plants. All right. And there was a reason for that. Really, because pea plants are pretty simple organisms, and they sort of have some traits that it is very much one or the other. They were either purple flowers or white flowers. So they were either tall or short. There really wasn't much in between. So because they were simple plants, they were pretty easy to study. Okay. Number three, the question was, a plant's pollen fertilizes its own flower. What is this called? All right, remember, it's fertilizing its own flower. Okay, so there's only one plant involved in the reproduction in this case, so that was self-pollination, right? And that makes sense. Well, spelled that wrong. Right, because it's fertilizing itself. And then conversely, pollen from one plant fertilizes the flowers of another. What is this called? That was called cross-pollination. Okay, and we call it cross-pollination because the offspring are going to be a cross of two different plants. All right. Number five, individual pieces of DNA that code for specific traits are called, and those were called genes. Right? So genes are just the individual little pieces that code for all your different traits. So we all have millions and millions of genes, and they're microscopic, and they're organized on our strands of DNA. And those strands of DNA basically give the genetic material for everything about an organism. All right. And different versions of genes are called alleles. Okay, so you might have an area of your DNA, a specific gene that codes for, say, your eye color. Okay, so there'll be a gene for eye color, and the different alleles of that gene could be blue eyes, brown, green, hazel, and so on. Remember, we related it to, say, you're getting a car, and the gene is to a pickup truck, as an allele would be to an F-150 or a Silverado or a Ram 1500, or a gene is to a sports car, as an allele is to a Mustang or a Camaro or a Charger. So there's different ways you can relate it. I know this is a pretty short assignment, but we're just getting our feet off the ground with online classroom. So expect this to get a little more intense as we get used to it and work out all the issues. All right. So welcome to the first video, guys. Thanks for watching.